Hi, and welcome to Paper Crafting with Tammi. The video that you're going to see today is a collaboration between myself and some other Kiwi Lane creative partners, and we're all going to be making our videos using the August Kiwi Lane Club Kit from 2020. So this August 2020 kit is called Trailblazer. So you're going to notice that we have very similar tools that we use, and we're all starting with the same paper kit, the same embellishments, the same templates, and then we'll add in things to personalize it, and all of our layouts will be different. So as you move from video to video, you'll see several different versions using these same kit, which will be a lot of fun. To find links to the other videos, make sure you check in the description part of the video, so just arrow down and make sure you connect down there, and there'll be links to each one of the videos. We will be doing a giveaway, so there will be a tiny accessory of your choice for one of the viewers this time. So make sure to comment. If you comment on every single channel that's involved in the collaboration, that would enter you once for each one of those comments. So take the time to do that. Let us know what you think, and let us know if you'd like us to continue these kind of collaborations. We're very excited to bring this to you this month, and we look forward to doing more. So thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. So all of these papers that you're seeing here, these first 6 papers, these are all sheets that you get one of. Okay, so I've got one of each of these. If I flip those over, you can see the reverse sides. So a lot of really fun blues and yellows, oranges, kind of a southwestern color palette this time. And then I've got two each of these. So I could either use the orange or the yellow. And then if I flip those, there's a dark blue and then a light blue. Okay, so I've got some great choices there to play with. And then the monthly kits always come with some templates. So the a la carte templates this time are called Boot and Native. So just some fun shapes to play with there. And then this really interesting strip that also has all of the coordinating smaller pieces. So I think I'm actually missing one of these. But the set has all of these great pieces that you could use for designing, for layering on top of this. So there's going to be a lot of fun playing with this kit this month. So I just wanted to show you what we're working with. Of course, there are tons of sentiment cards that are included, but I'm not going to flip through all of these. There are several that really enhance that palette, follow the theme of the kit, and I will be choosing a few of those for the layout today. If this is the first time that you've been to my channel, I hope that you enjoy what you see. Take a minute and look through the other videos that I have and see if those are of interest to you. If you think that you would like to be notified when I have new content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell, and that'll give you notifications. The layout that I'm going to make today is going to use this color palette. So I'm going to use this really beautiful floral, a little bit of the light orange. There's a really great stripe, and then yellow for my background paper. And then I found a couple of sentiments that I really like that brought out the blue in this floral pattern. And I am also going to feature the new border set from Kiwi Lane called Funky Frills. And the one that I'm going to use specifically is the Funky Frills 1A and 1B. And this set is designed to layer with some of our existing borders. So this particular one layers with Aspen Court 3A and 3B. And I'll show you some tricks for getting those cut so you don't overuse your paper, and that'll just be a fun little accent and something fun to play with today. So I'm going to go ahead and start by flipping over my background papers because it's really hard to see the templates on the yellow, and I want to make sure you can see kind of what I'm putting together here. So although I am building it on blue, It is not my intention to use the dark blue background, and I'll flip that over when we're actually ready to start putting the pattern paper on. So for starters, like I said, I want to use this Aspen Quart 3A and 3B along with the Funky Frills 1A and 1B. And I'm going to use those right along the edge, but I'm going to leave a little gap today because I do want to use a strip of paper there. And my borders today are going to go on both, flip that over. My borders today are going to go on the outside edges of both pages. I'll go ahead and just use the 1-inch strip to remind me that I want to have a separate little piece of paper there. I just think those are going to play together really nicely. I think that's just going to be a really fun border for these pages. As far as the photo mats go, I want to go ahead and block out this section with a 5x7 today. And if you've seen my videos before, you know, one of the things that I like to do when I'm going to pull in that size photo mat is also put in these 3x4s. Now, if you have 5x7 photos, that's a great place to feature one. So feel free to leave the whole 5x7 in your design if you've got the photos for that. I'm going to do a 4x6 here. Another 4x6 up here at the top on that left-hand page. And then these are 4x5s, and I'm hoping to be able to fit 2 of them. Now, it's always hard to know if you're going to want to tuck a photo or not. It really depends, right, on what that photo is. But for now, I'm going to show that tucked underneath that border just for the purposes of design. Okay. As far as embellishments for this page, I showed you these couple of cards that I wanted to use that are from the August 2020 Kiwi Club Kit. This one, I'm going to go ahead and leave mostly a rectangle, but I think I'll just use this tags 5 just to go ahead and cut a little edge on there. So this will be a placeholder for me, but I'm going to put both of these here just so I remember that it's not quite as big as it looks. This one says, I find happiness where the sun shines. So we have this great shine template. This is one of our a la cartes, and this fits beautifully on here. So I'm going to go ahead and use the shine template with this card, and that's going to go up in the corner. Then I have all these really fun pieces that were part of this month's club kit. So this is an a la carte called Native that I think will just be a really fun accent right at the bottom of that mat. And then there's a couple of these little pieces. All of these can be just tiny little accents, right? They're going to use hardly any paper at all, but they're going to just add a really fun element. And you could either pop them up on some foam tape, or you could leave them just adhered straight to the page. But what a fun way to add some detail to a layout. I love this one with the 3, kind of looks like 3 triangles. This is Southwest 9. I'm just going to use it here on an edge. And then there's a lot of these little diamonds. So it came with 3 of them. I will probably incorporate 4. I'll just cut an extra. So you won't see that in this planning stage, but I think I'll do them at the top and the bottom of each of these photos, and that just kind of spreads my little pieces out. I'll pick some fun colors to go along with the layout, and I think this will be a great place to start from. So hopefully, being on the dark blue, you were able to see that well. I'm going to go ahead and start doing some tracing and cutting, and when I come back, I'll be showing the yellow side of the paper so that as I'm putting in these pattern papers, you'll be able to see exactly how that's going to look on that yellow background. As I went to get these 2 border pieces cut, I thought this would be a good opportunity to share with you just a strategy. If the side of the paper that you are wanting to make your borders out of is kind of busy and you're afraid that you're going to have trouble seeing your line that you trace, I just want to remind you, with these borders, they're not hugely different, but it's still going to matter when you go to layer them. So if your page is busy, you can tuck your template under and then flip it over. And the reason I say tuck it under and then flip is because you want your border to be upside down if you're going to have your paper upside down. So just make sure that you're reversing both the border and the paper, okay? So this one needs to be upside down. It'll match up. And I can go ahead and just do my little pencil mark so that I can know where to do my straight cut, okay? So just a tip with that. And then the other thing I wanted to show you, this is the paper I'm going to use for my funky frills. Now, when you think about this, you're cutting a whole lot of paper that's going to be hidden, right? It's going to have this Aspen court piece layered on top of it. So I would eyeball that. I mean, take a look and see how much of it's actually going to show, okay? And I would trace that part. So I know that I don't need at least like that 3/4 of an inch. Maybe that doesn't sound like a lot, but I usually am such a big fan of these papers that I don't want to waste any of it. So I'm going to trace that. I'm going to lean this one right here. And then let's see how much of this is actually going to show. And the side that I'm looking at, right, is going to be over here. And I can see that I only really need to about there. So I'm going to make my little mark and do my straight cut with my trimmer right along there and just save a little bit of that paper. So you can see where that's going to go. If we hadn't taken the time to do that, it would have been, let's see how much. It would have taken up that much. So it's maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of paper. It's not a ton, but it's enough to use for some strips later or something like that. So just a little tip. One of the elements that I decided I wanted to pull in is a little sentiment that is on this card. So this card, it was included in the club kit. It's got lots of fun little sayings on it that you could use in lots of different ways. Now, I am going to be doing a little element at the bottom of that 5x7 photo mat that has the 2 3x4s on it. So I could either pull in this little one that says date and just has a couple of little lines for journaling. I could do this, you sure do make it a sunny day. The hey y'all, that would fit, as would the howdy. So in this case, because there's not going to be a lot of journaling that I need to do, and I had already decided to include a little journaling card, I'm going to go ahead and use this one that says you sure do make it a sunny day, and that's going to tie in really well with the little sunshine that I'm using on the page. It's got a nice orange font, which is going to match well. So I just wanted to show you that quick little trick. Just kind of keep your eye out in your kit for some of these little detail pieces that sometimes work really perfectly with the templates. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to share was to go through your sentiment cards and decide if there are some that you are not as likely to use. Because I'm going to be cutting all of those little pieces that were some of the templates this time. So I went through to see if I had some, so I don't have to waste one of my large sheets of paper. Maybe I can cut up the sentiment cards. So I don't have anybody in my life that I'm going to be wanting to scrap about their boots. So these both will be good ones for me to go ahead and use. This nice deep blue I think is going to be a nice pop on the page. This one about Sweet Indian Summer, probably not. So I've got either the orange on the back or that nice medium blue. And then this is another one about boots. So I could pull like some of this for an accent. I could use the white. I could use the nice deep orange on the back. So just a thought. Don't just think that you don't, gosh, I'm not going to use that sentiment. This is trash. Nope, these are great photo mats and they're great little pieces to use for accents on cards and on your pages. So I went ahead and laid this back out on the yellow background so that you can see exactly how it's going to look as I go through and replace the pieces. So for the 1-inch strip, I went ahead and used this great stripe. It's got a lot of wonderful colors in it, and I think it's going to really bring in everything that I'm going to use on this layout. So anytime you're going to use a really strong stripe like this, you want to make sure that you're representing those colors in other places. Okay. For the Aspen Court 3A and the Funky Frills, I went ahead and used that really beautiful floral, and it has all of those colors that are in that great stripe. And then for the Funky Frills, I wanted something that was a little bit more neutral, so I just used this really beautiful light orange. I think that's going to go very well right there. Let's get it on the other side. And then when I had a chance to look at that and see the stripe up against the floral, that was making my eyes a little bit buggy. So I did go ahead and just cut this kind of deep orange, and I thought, well, that's gonna pull in this deep orange that's in this border and seal that seam, and I will bring this color in a couple of other places just to carry it across the layout. As far as the photo mats, I went ahead and used a color that is really complementary to this background color in the floral paper. The other side of it is actually the one with the buffaloes and the mountains and things, and that honestly wasn't my favorite paper from this kit, so I was fine with using it as a photo mat. Sometimes I know people get a little bit worried when they see a real strong print and they're not sure that they love it. My recommendation would be check out the other side. Sometimes that is going to work out much better for you. Don't just decide out of hand that you're not crazy about a piece of paper. So just my thought. Remember this tag? I was actually using a journaling square. So this was one of those little 3x4 pieces. And I just used this to help me make the cut at the top. Okay. I used the shine template to cut this accent. And then I showed you how I traced this fun little native a la carte. And then all I did was hold this up against one of those little cards that I was showing you. So this was one of the ones about the boots. And I used the back side, this really beautiful orange. It matches that strip really well. And I just held this native a la carte right up against the paper and just did a freehand cut around it because I decided I wanted to back it and carry that dark orange across. I was a little bit worried about just having a little pop there. The other thing I cut out of that little sentiment card were these little pieces. And I think these diamonds out of that orange also help carry that across, give a fun little pop of that color and just a nice little accent. And then for these accents that are remaining, I used that other deep blue sentiment card that had referred to the boots. And I used this little section here. There's still a little bit of scrap left there, so I could use it for something else. But I really liked that deep blue for an accent there. And then these little guys. And that's also what I cut this little ribbon for from this tag. I just cut a little strip of that ribbon, did a diagonal cut and then layered them there and just use a little staple to attach them. So that's the basic idea for the layout. I did decide that I wanted to bring in a tiny bit more of this blue color. So I pulled out some enamel dots that I have just from other projects. And I think just this real small blue dot will be a fun accent just right in the middle of each one of these diamonds. And that'll carry in just a tiny bit more of that blue and help bring that into the layout a little bit more so that it's not just left over on these edges. Okay. So that is my layout with the August 2020 Kiwi Club Kit. So I will go ahead and get this adhered off camera, and I'll post a couple pictures at the end of the video. I will probably use some foam tape to pop up things like this sun, and then some of these smaller sentiments I'll pop up with some foam tape just to give a little bit of dimension to the layout. Don't forget to go down to the description box and hop along through this collaboration so you can see what else some people created with this August 2020 Kiwi Club Kit. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your time with me, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.